the negative, calling everybody delusional. This podcast is number one. Like when you take a piss, so share the link and pass it. Like big Jamaican spliffs and Mr. Make-A-Wish, the sophisticated click. I spit offensive lines, now Tim can take a sip of some beer because he likes the taste of it, right? Don't forget the New York Giants beat the Patriots twice. The sickest dudes eating chips and salsa like it's Victor Cruz. Win or lose, always gonna root for Big Blue. It's true. This a classic show. Tyree, catch it, bro. Play a drinking game while you listen and call it Plaxico. Take a couple shots. If it's funny, you can rewind to Bleed Blue. Means it's in their jeans like Levi's. Eli, man in the shit, just like a sailor. Captain, we attacking bum rush like Lawrence Taylor. Podcast on point, the sharpest arrows. BBG stay gritty like Mark Bavaro.
There we are. Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Bleedbigblue podcast. We got me, we got Will Presti on, and we are coming off what must have been one of the worst Giants losses that I can remember in years. And I'm not sure if it was just, the classic letdown, which we warned people about. But man, that was brutal. Brutal.
We were having technical issues before we started, and then we had it all figured out. And I don't know if you changed anything, but I'm hearing all sorts of weird stuff coming from you.
What are you hearing?
Now it's good. Okay, now it's
Here we
good.
go.
I didn't hear what you had to say, and I'm assuming I didn't want to hear it anyway because it's not a good week for the Giants. I do love that the theme song ends with Mark Bavaro, who is one of my favorites, and I recently showed my girlfriend a little highlight clip of Mark Bavaro. And the rumor in the Presti household is that the legend is that my first ever words, I kept saying Mavo Bavo over and over again, and they couldn't figure out why. And I would point to a poster we had with the Giants, and it was Mark Bavaro. And that's why I was saying Mavo Bavo. So that put me in a good mood. Time for the bad mood. The Giants. You know what, Marco?
It was horrible. Horrible.
This week, first of all, I think my mama might be watching for the first time. So shout out to my mama if she is, in fact, watching. Hi.
Hello.
So easy, Marco. So you know what this week was? I think one phrase sums up what this week was, in all honesty. You want to guess where I'm going with this one? It's a 2-word phrase.
Does it start with S?
No. It's reality check.
Mm-hmm.
It was a reality check. It was unfortunate. I'm not going to sit here and gloat and say, this is what I said, blah, blah, blah. I think we wanted to see if Seattle was a trend or a blip, right? Mm-hmm. And, of course, Jones was not 100%, and Martinez was not 100%. But you see what happens. The Giants had gone up against the bad Cincinnati defense. They had gone up against the bad Seattle defense. The offensive line was able to handle itself. They were able to move the ball a little bit. And then they go up against just a pretty good defense, just a good NFL caliber defense. And, the offensive line once again looked porous. Jones couldn't run, which is a pretty big part of his game. Couldn't do that. But there was just nothing good about the game. It was like a huge setback. And I think it was the game I was looking forward to the most all year. It was the first game we've had in a while where you felt like it had actual importance to it. And for it to happen the way that it happened, it was just terrible. I don't know. What was your take on the game?
Like we talked about last week, I was like, I think the Giants, they're coming in hot. They're doing well. I'm hoping this is not a classic letdown game.
Right.
The offense.
But do you think it's
so bad? They didn't even cross the 50 for at least third quarter, maybe even fourth quarter.
I mean, I don't even know where to go with it because Jones, like the Giants had 10 points in the third quarter against Cincinnati when Jones was healthy in that game. That's terrible offensively. And this one, they had 0 points in the first half. And I just think, you know what it was, honestly? There's pros and cons to everything about the Giants, right? So not a lot of pros with the receivers, but they got some veteran guys. They can make some catches. They all have pretty good hands. The offensive line was getting better and better. They were gelling. Jones does play well when he's not under pressure. He can run. So those are kind of the positives. Every negative trait that each of the Giants players have on offense all came to fruition in this one game. Yeah. Jones's pocket presence showed his failure. Obviously his lack of a pocket presence, that got exploited. The offensive line's weaknesses got exploited. The wide receivers not getting any distance between them and the corners got exploited. Yeah. All the things that can go wrong happen. So what's the result? Jones doesn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. He's not aware when people are in his grill. He can't move even if they are. And when he goes to throw the ball into those circumstances, there's nobody open. So the offense just isn't gonna work. It was very disappointing.
Yeah, it was everything that we didn't need to happen.
Right.
Happen.
And now all of a sudden, people were like, playoffs, we're going to go deep, this and that. The division is ours. And it's like all of a sudden now we're no longer in the driver's seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the last stat that I saw from the New York Times was that the Giants have, I think it was 34% chance of making the playoffs as it is now.
Something like that. But I mean, Washington's schedule is kind of cake now, right?
Yeah. And they seem to be playing okay. Haskins, I think, is going to play again now because Smith is hurt, from what I believe.
I mean, the Giants are probably looking at one more win, right? How many games are left? 3?
3.
So, I mean, they're probably looking at maybe one more win.
It's either Dallas, it's the easy win that people, I'm not going to say any win is easy. It's the win that people are thinking. We have Cleveland and we have Baltimore.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I said I thought the Giants were going to finish 5-11 when they were 4-7. And then they beat Seattle to go 5-7. And everyone's like, oh, this is a 7-win team, an 8-win team. Mm-hmm. I still think 5-11 is pretty realistic. I would bet on the Browns to win. I would bet on the Ravens to win. I think anything's possible. We've learned that over the last few weeks. Anything's possible. And then it comes down to, can the Giants beat the Cowboys? But at that point, you're not making the playoffs at 6-10.
Nope. So I don't. The defense didn't get exposed. They were just out there for so long.
Oh, I felt bad. What was the time of possession? I mean, was it in the 40s to in the 20s?
Under a minute. This is like ridiculous.
No. I mean, Thomas is getting beat, and by the way, now Jones has an ankle injury.
Yeah, now he's ankle and hamstring.
I mean, dude, tell me you don't think does Colt McCoy give him a better chance to win?
No,
he doesn't. He's 1-0 as a Giant against the 9-3.
Factually correct. Seahawks. Factually correct.
I don't know, man. But it was a tough one. It was not fun in any regard. I mean, do things, and I didn't care that much that I wasn't watching the game. There was no point. At no point did you feel like, all right, here we go. And by the way, I have to say, I've never really seen Kyler Murray play, and I mean this as a compliment. He is so annoying. He is so annoying to watch play. He's so quick, and he's so little. He's I don't know if anyone's ever nicknamed him anything, but he looks like Mighty Mouse out there. It's so annoying watching this guy play.
No, he's so agile too.
He is.
Quick
he's got
steps
those little
back
steps.
And then he's
got those little steps.
It's
little steps. It's crazy.
And he throws. He makes good throws too. Unlike Lamar's a little bigger,
right?
A little stronger. Arm talent is not as good as Murray's though.
But you know what? I didn't think the defense played that bad. Is that just me?
No, they didn't play bad, but you're there the whole game. They literally played. They're there the whole game. They played the whole game.
Well, in the
they were on
first half,
field the whole time.
In the first half, I was texting my roommate, my friends and stuff like that. Some of my college roommates watching the game, and I was like, I think the defense is playing really good. They just were starting in their own end the entire game. They're exhausted. I mean, I can't say really good, but you know what was interesting? Like, people are saying they had no pass rush, but I almost felt like the pass rush looked similar to what it looked like against Seattle. It's just that Kyler Murray reacted differently than Russell Wilson. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's more elusive than Russell
Right.
Wilson.
They had a lot of delayed rushes and and things that Russell Wilson would spin and turn and kind of just end up taking the sack, whereas Murray would release the ball or sprint forward with it. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you, and you're gonna get sort of similar quarterbacks going forward. Well,
what do we got? Right, we got Baker.
Right. He's not the most elusive guy, but Jackson could hurt you. Andy Dalton, redheaded rifle.
Is he still the quarterback at Dallas?
Is he? I think so.
So it's tough, man. I don't know.
I don't even know how to fix the Giants' offense. Do you fire Jason Garrett?
Well, that's something that our buddy Jack was talking about with me, is that that they should have, like, the game plan that worked against Seattle was running the ball a lot to set up the pass, and that's what allowed McCoy to do enough to win the game. And he kind of felt like that Garrett just abandoned that. Like, well, we got Jones back, we can just start ripping the ball and throwing it. And he kind of wanted to see them establish the run. But I don't know, how was the offensive line looking against like in run blocking early on in the game? Was it really there to be had?
Run blocking, they did okay. I think the average was like 4.5 or something along that line.
That's doable.
Yeah, decent, but
what was the yardage? It was like, what did we even have? Like 250 total yards of offense?
If we've blamed, this would be how many offensive coordinators? 3, Shula, Shermer. Well, yeah, technically sure. Well,
Gilbride, McAdoo.
Yeah, but those were all. Wait, what was what's his name's first one? Shermer.
Jones.
Wasn't there one? Yeah, Jones. Wasn't there someone before?
No, Shermer was 2 years, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was 2 years. But was Mike Shula the official OC both years?
I'm not sure.
I think I'm forgetting.
You looking it up?
Yeah.
I'll take this time to say that my mom had texted me during this saying that, "Oh, you're doing good. You look good, honey." So thanks, Mom. By the way, my mom, I think, could start at most positions for the Giants right now. I feel like anyone really could. Did Xavier McKinney play more snaps this week?
Not the same. Giants offensive coordinators.
All right, what do we got? Let's see if we have any people talking to us. Oops, I just bounced.
Will. Will dropped out. I'm looking up who Giants' last offensive coordinators. Garrett Shula. Who was before Shula is my question. If you let me know in the comment. There we go. Back.
Could you see me that whole time?
No. It was a black screen.
I went to swipe at some comments and I lost the whole thing, and now I can't hear a damn thing you're saying.
No. So it's
right,
Jason Garrett, Shula.
I'm leaving and coming back.
Shula. What happened? Oh, here we go. Bounce out again. You breaking your shit?
Hello?
Yep. You breaking down? What did you do?
Why does it always happen? All right, I'm bouncing.
Okay. All right, let's see. Boom. No, Judge didn't draft Jones. I was wondering if he was willing to go after a QB, if that works for him. That's a possibility. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So, Judge didn't draft Jones. Does he want to start over? Does he want his own offensive coordinator, not Garrett?
Wait, who were the first 2 years?
The past ones was Shula and Jason Garrett. This year in Shula.
Well, what do you think about Garrett, man?
I think it's too vanilla. I mean, he doesn't have Saquon in there, but Gallman was doing good. Do the receivers not get separation? Didn't Daniel Jones look good under Pat Shurmur as the head coach rather than Joe Judge right now?
You asked me a
I
question.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only hear you now. I heard Joe Judge right now. What do you got?
Is it your headset?
We're good now. It doesn't matter. Let's just look forward.
So I was saying, who do you think Jones looked better under, Shula or Jones?
Well,
Schuler.
no.
Judge, sorry.
Well, no. Shula or Garrett.
Well, Shurmur or Judge.
Okay.
Too simple.
Well, it's two different kinds of Joneses, right? Because in the one regard, you've got high risk, high reward. In the other one, you've got low risk, low reward. So last year's Daniel Jones threw more picks, had more fumbles than he does this year. But he also had 4 or 5 games that were much better than any one game he's had this year. You know, I always bring this up, but don't forget Jones. I forget the exact stat. I should just look it up. But he was the first rookie in the history of the NFL to have like 4 games of 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions. And I think the first guy ever as a rookie to have a game with 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, something like that. I mean, he had like 4 or 5 prolific games. He hasn't done anything like that this year.
What's the difference?
You know, I've heard some people say that like Slayton was getting open deep more and he's not now, whether he was taking people by surprise and now they're doubling him deep or something, whether it's just that, you know, people are losing a step here or there. I mean, he didn't have Saquon either. I don't know if it wasn't that they were respecting the run so much. What's the difference? It might be play calling. Are they really calling deep passes for him anymore? I mean, I know, you know, there was a lot of talk about how they weren't calling deep pass plays for Jones, and then Garrett came out one game and they started throwing deep, and I think it worked out pretty well. I forget what game it was. Have they gotten away from that a little bit? I think what's happened is because they're trying to eliminate the fumbles and the turnovers, they're doing more of a dink and dunk, and they're kind of limiting him because that's the trade-off, right? If you're going to open him up and let him be Brett Favre, it's going to come with the other half of what Brett Favre is, which is a turnover machine. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to the question is, how can you get the best out of Daniel Jones without bringing out the worst in Daniel Jones? Though, does he really throw picks deep? I feel like a lot of his picks come like mid to short range.
Yeah, off of Aaron Ingram.
I was going to say, did Ingram account for any turnovers this week?
I think he was turnover free.
I don't think he did. So that's something.
Greeny green. Defenses have figured Jones out. It might be a possibility with more tape on him. They're starting to learn his tendencies. That could play into it.
Yeah. That could be something, if there's something there that Jones is doing that is very obvious. I mean, I don't know what he does versus the other quarterbacks and what they do and how you can figure out some guys and can't figure out other guys. I don't know. But that's possible. I went to look at the comments before and I lost the whole screen, so you want to read me some comments, that'd be fine too.
All right, let's see. Looks like I get to keep the Barkley jersey. That's from Dean.
Dean. Dude.
Dean, keep your jersey, my friend.
That's, yeah.
They don't roll out. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. They don't roll out.
Andrew Kish, they don't roll out. They should do it more often, would help out the O-line.
That's not bad. I'm just a huge fan of play action passing. I love run and then play action, especially like a play action rollout. You run everybody to the left, you roll the quarterback out to the right, and a little misdirection. I know there was that stat that was crazy just about how there's a direct correlation between pre-snap movement and points scored. That basically all your best offenses have the most motion going on right before the snap, and the teams that just sit there before the snap and don't do any motion don't score any points. It was a crazy correlation that I saw, and that's the game when Jason Garrett came out and the Giants were doing all sorts of reverses and flea flickers and all that stuff.
It's confusing everyone.
It's like he hears what people are saying about him, and then that week he tries to change it all in one game, and then he just goes back to his normal shit the week before the week later.
Yeah. I felt like the momentum was good right after the Seattle game. Obviously, like the whole fandom vibing, even if people didn't want, were hopeful for a good pick or anything along that line. A lot of people were vibing towards, wing streak. Now plummeting.
This was the first week that I can be honest about this. This was, besides like week 1 and 2 and 3, where you don't know what your team's going to be. This was really the first week this season that I was completely on board with. I hope the Giants win, and I don't care about a pick. Like from once they were like 0-4, 0-5, like 1-7. I'm like, what's the point? Just lose, try to get a quarterback, try to get Sewell, something like that. But this was the first week that I was like, all right, here we go. Like, let's get this win. Let's do it. I started feeling it like halfway through the Seattle game. I'm like, all right, forget the pick. Let's just go for the playoffs, even if we make it with 6 wins. And God, they gave me nothing to feel good about, man. And
yeah,
it's got to feel rough on Jones and because it's for you come off a huge win. I know there's no competition there because he's the guy, but you come off a huge win with the other quarterback. You come in and put up a complete stinker, and he has to have some kind of pocket presence, man. Like I know when you get blindsided, you could say how is that the quarterback's fault? But what was it? The second play of the game, that Golden, wasn't it Marcus Golden?
Oh yeah,
that he
totally lit him up. Yeah.
Is there a fumble term for a pick six? What's a fumble? What is that called?
Recovery.
No,
scoop and score. Scoop and score.
Is it a scoop and score? Yeah, man, that was rough.
I'm saying 19 out of 20 quarterbacks were going to fumble that. He just got rocked. No way.
What about his other 3 fumbles?
Those are legitimate. I said I give him 1.
You give him 1. Okay, I got you.
This just in: Daniel Jones fumbling his fork while eating lasagna. Breaking news.
As an Italian, I take offense to that. I think that's very insensitive.
Because we currently don't have any.
I don't know why. Yeah, no, man. I mean, his fumbles are ultimately down this year, but we'll see. And I don't even know if he's going to play this week. I mean, we'll see what happens. I know it's a Sunday night game now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play.
I mean, the interesting dynamic is because of what Baker Mayfield said about him in that article.
This is interesting.
Anybody who doesn't know, Baker Mayfield came out, and I forget what magazine it was or what, but he said,
DJ is Mr. Magoo in the pocket.
Yeah. He said, where are all the defenders? I think that's what Mr. Magoo sounded like. But Baker Mayfield said, why would the Giants draft Daniel Jones? He never won in college. He's never won. Like, I think they just overthink these things. You got to draft a winner, not a guy like Daniel Jones. And then that came out, and that's why every Giants fan started hating the Browns. And then Mayfield called up Daniel Jones and apologized to him. But, he has to, So Jones is going to want to play real well. And I think both teams are going to want to play real well for their quarterback. I think both teams like their quarterback. Both teams have completely different attitudes. I mean, you got kind of the humble, good guy, Giant, young, like, buying into the Judge system. I'm not just trying to be biased here, like we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, but the Browns, with all those personalities and all the egos and all that, and of course the game isn't going to be as marquee as it would have been if Odell was there. That's a huge thing, and I'm glad he's not playing. I don't need him going off on the Giants. But
and you know what? On that note, my feed is full of like just Odell retweeting the interviews and people trying to get, was that trade, worth it for the Giants? Is there a possibility that he would ever find his way back to the Giants? I'm just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I
just couldn't stand Odell. If it's the difference between a couple of wins a year and just not, I couldn't even watch the games. Like, I think Odell Beckham Jr. is probably the second most physically talented wide receiver in NFL history, besides Randy Moss. And I know the gravity of what I just said. I mean, I think the things he can do are just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then he single-handedly won many games for the Giants. He did. You can go back to that season, like in 2015 or something like that. That game against the Ravens, he had those two, when he was breaking all those short passes long. He won against Baltimore. He won against a lot of these different teams he was beating by himself. But I just couldn't take the antics.
Killing it on the slants. Oh, his slants were dangerous.
But then every post-game all the energy is about him. Yeah. Every post-game interview, every practice, everything. The whole team has to answer questions. It's not, hey, what happened on your touchdown today? Sterling Shepard. It's, hey, do you think Odell is getting the ball enough, given what a star he is? Like, it's a drain on a team I don't think you need. But I got to tell you this, Marco. I've never had a team that I cared zero about turn into a team that I completely hate faster than the Browns. When they went, when they got Mayfield and then Beckham and then a couple of those other guys whose names escape me right now. And don't they have Myles Garrett? No.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it right now. If you can tell my throat too, I only got a few more minutes left. I got to go take a nap. But
me too.
I think I'm just putting it to sleep. But,
the energy is low today for everyone.
If anybody doesn't know, we're actually in the same room right now. We're just going to jump into the middle of the screen and just lay in the same bed. We're just Marco. What's up, buddy? Oh, I looked the wrong way. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey.
You looked the wrong way. Look to your left.
So wait, there we go. Hey, guys.
So anyway, I just can't stand the Browns. I really just can't. They're like one of my top. They were never relevant to me, and now they're one of my top 3 least favorite teams. I just can't stand them.
They don't bother me at all.
We'll see.
I mean, their first win.
Bother you? Why? Because Baker's actually good in his commercials.
No, he's a putz. They just don't. It's one of those teams.
Are they 9-3?
Yeah, I think that.
No, 9-4.
Yeah, they're up there.
They're first winning season. They just lost to the Ravens. So anyway,
can you see the Giants keeping it interesting?
Of course, yeah, because they beat Seattle, and Washington beat the Steelers, and anything can happen. But the Browns really have that swagger, and I don't know that the Giants are quite there. Like the Browns are playing like a pro team with men who are motivated and who are doing things. And the Giants are they're just a little young. They're just a little inexperienced. They're just not as consistent. I could see the Giants keeping it interesting, but if I had to put a number on it, and I haven't done my research on the Browns and their scoring and stuff like that, but I don't know, because they have the potential, the Browns. These last few weeks, they've put up a bunch of points, huh?
Yeah, they've 30s.
Yeah.
Giants haven't even sniffed 30.
No.
Especially in our last game.
You think maybe like a 31-20 deal?
Yeah. I mean, not getting past the 50-yard line for half.
It's ugly. And by the way, the Giants' special teams have sucked these past few weeks. I don't know what Joe Judge is up to.
Yeah. He's busy coaching the O-line now. He fire everyone.
Is he? The O-line has one good game against the Seattle Seahawks. They have one good game against the Seahawks. Everyone's going, "Oh, Will, you still want to change the offensive line? Blah, blah, blah. How dare you say that? They're all stars and everything." They got their asses handed to them last week, man.
Yeah.
And they weren't playing the Purple People Eaters either, all right? They were playing the Arizona Cardinals. So,
right. On a personal note, I would like to see the Giants pull off a win and start to get some good feeling, man. It's just such an energy suck back to the franchise. Like,
an energy suck back?
Yes. You never heard of it?
Back to from I think that was a term you learned in Vegas, but we'll leave that one alone. Listen, sorry, Mom. Yeah, I'd love it if the Giants could pull something off. It'd be great, but I don't know, man. Although the Browns, you can't trust them necessarily. Like, they're kind of hot and cold. I know your boy Justin. He says, "Well, the Giants will beat the Browns. I don't trust Baker Mayfield." Do you trust Daniel Jones?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough, man. But this Giants team, bottom line, as I've said every week, the defense is. Well, now I'll say the defense is top 15. The offense is bottom 3. It's pretty clear cut what we got to do in the offseason. So
ready from Ray on Facebook. Once DJ is able to read and pick up defenses, he will improve. Right now, at times, he looks lost, and he has to stop staring down receivers. Rooting for the kid.
That's fair. That was my first comment. My first comment ever on Daniel Jones when I first saw him was that I've never seen a guy stare down his receivers that long, even rookies, even rookie quarterbacks. I mean, he'd be looking at the guy before he snapped the ball. He'd be shotgun like this. I mean, So, but at what point does that happen? Reading defenses. He's a smart guy. He's a Duke guy. He started there for a while. This is his second season. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' second season, he looks pretty good to me. Russell Wilson, these guys can pick it up this quickly. So,
multiple systems, multiple offensive coordinator, multiple head coaches, offensive lineman switches.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to be consistent when everything around you isn't consistent.
The offensive line was porous. He couldn't move. The receivers weren't open. It was the trifecta. When you have no time and you have no legs and you have no one to throw to, that's why they need to get a number one receiver. That's why they need to patch up the offensive line. And then when he's healthy again, now you could be talking about maybe an average offense, something like that.
Mike A just jumped on, but the wide receiver separation has been terrible.
That's true, man.
It's also hard to catch separation when the quarterback is getting sacked with under 2 seconds. It's also
no, but your route is pretty much run within 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Anyway.
Talking sports with Landon 1. What's up with you, Landon 1?
Marco, I gotta leave you to your own devices here, man.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
You can handle it on your own, man.
I feel shitty about the Giants.
It's bringing you down. Lie. What else is there to talk about?
Right.
Let's hope that this weekend goes better. We got the bump up to Sunday night's game. I'll say, as sad as this is, I'll say optimistically 31-20.
Oh, man.
Isn't that sad? Do they have Njoku? Tight end?
Yeah, he's still there, isn't he?
Because he's the one that I wanted instead of Evan Engram in that draft. So, that just dawned on me.
Landon talking sports with Landon 1. This is my first time watching. Well, welcome. You're catching us at the tail end.
I'm sorry, dude. We're usually a lot more high energy than this. There's laughing. There's joking. We're giving away millions of dollars. There's models behind us. It's a whole production. This is much different than it usually is.
All those are facts. We had some technical difficulties. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me.
Didn't want to hear me.
I have a whole bunch of voicemails that I wanted to play, but I'm going to hold them for a different day.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that when these people call in. You guys call in. We like that. So let's keep that going. And hopefully we get a win.
I will say this. I bought a new mixer. It's coming. This PayPal paid for is my new friend. So it should be pretty good.
Mixer?
Yeah. so I could have audio coming in from all different places.
I thought you meant like.
That's pretty good.
All right, so let's get a prediction out of you, Marco, and then we'll sign off.
What's up with Sada Turner 16? Oh my good to you too.
What's your prediction?
Oh man.
Pain.
Pain.
I do it every week.
28. I think it's going to be like 35-24.
You're giving the Giants 24 points. Would that be like a season high?
Wait, who's quarterback?
I don't know. We'll see. Does Colt McCoy lead them to a victory?
I think it's 2 touchdowns and a field goal and a defensive touchdown. That'll get us the 22 touchdowns and a defensive touchdown and a field goal.
That's 24 points.
It's 24.
All right. I like that defensive.
That's math for you.
I like that defensive touchdown call on your part. I hope it comes true. We'll see what happens. Next week we'll come at you. We'll get a win this weekend and come at you with higher energy next week. Okay, fans?
Mike A, 23-17 Browns. You suck. You suck.
Hey, the last time I heard somebody predict 23-17, you know who it was?
Yes, I do.
Who was it?
I don't know what it is.
You don't?
No.
Plaxico Burress.
Oh,
Predicted the Giants would win the Super Bowl 42, 23-17, and that's when Brady said, "We're only going to score 17 points." Okay.
Boom.
And then they scored 14 points and lost. Yeah. All right, now I'm feeling good. We'll end it right. I'm out.
Is another prime time loss? Okay, Will. Thank you, my friend.
Marco, you're the best. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Boom. All right, maybe I'll go answer a few of them. My prediction is another primetime loss from Jose Velez. That sucks. Giants all day from Ryan Trinidad. No, Ramon Trinidad. All right. Talking Sports with Landon 1. He subscribed. Thank you, my friend. So, yeah, I'm not anticipating anything good for this coming Sunday. But, stranger things have happened. Let's see how it goes. All right, everyone. I'm going to call it a night. And I will talk to you all later on. Peace out.